There are people who look innocent, their laughter reassures you, and their words attract you. They could be a walking nightmare. Today we're going to talk about one of the most notorious and dangerous serial killers in history. He was handsome and intelligent, spoke fluently, and knew how to twist and turn with his words. People loved him, but inside there was a monster that woke up every night. This wasn't just a criminal, this was Ted Bundy.
I've met a lot of men who were motivated to commit violence just like me. And without exception, every one of them was deeply involved in pornography without question, without exception, deeply influenced and consumed by an addiction to pornography. There's no question of
Ted Bundy was born on November 24, 1946, in Vermont, USA. From the first moment of his life, he didn't know who he was. His mother was young and his father was unknown. So, his grandparents raised him as their son, and his mother was like a sister to him. Can you imagine growing up not knowing the truth? His psychological state began to take shape very early, and there were many signs of a personality disorder. As a child, he loved torturing animals. And that's always a red flag. As he grew older, he entered college and began to show off his intelligence and charm. He was very tactful, knew how to talk, and was always popular. At the same time, he was hiding another person inside. His life was a terrible contradiction. By day, he was a polite young man. By night, a hunter looking for a victim. In the early 70s, young girls began to disappear. One after the other. There was no trace, no witnesses, but those who were found were mutilated corpses. The police didn't understand what was happening. They saw a pattern. The same type of victims, young women with long brown hair and innocent features. Ted was very skilled at manipulation. He would pretend to be injured, wear a cast on his hand, and ask for help. The kind girl would help him, and in an instant she would disappear forever. In 1975, the police finally caught him. But here's the surprise.
honestly as I know what happened. And I think this is a message I want to get across. But as a young boy, and I mean a boy of 12 or 13, certainly, that I encountered outside the home again, in the local grocery store, the local drugstore, the softcore pornography, what people call softcore. But as I think I explained to you last night, Dr. Dobson, an anecdote, as young boys do, we explored the back roads and sideways and byways of our neighborhood, and often...
Despite the evidence, Ted managed to escape from prison. His first escape was through a library window inside the prison, jumping from a third floor. He was caught again, and months later, he escaped again. This time, the disaster was even greater. In 1978, after his second escape, he entered a female student dormitory at the University of Florida. In one night, he entered 4 girls, killed 2 of them, and seriously injured the others. What happened was a massacre. And all this, and the police still couldn't catch him. A while later, he was arrested in Florida, and the trial that all of America followed began. For the first time, a trial was broadcast on television, and the hero?
Listen, I'm no social scientist, and I haven't done a survey. I mean, I don't pretend that I know what John Q. Citizen thinks about this. But I've lived in prison for a long time now. And I've met a lot of men who were motivated to commit violence just like me. And without exception, every one of them was deeply involved in pornography, without question, without exception, deeply influenced and consumed by an addiction to pornography. There's no question about it. The FBI's own study on serial homicide shows that the most common interest among serial killers.
Ted Bundy, and he was determined to represent himself in court. He stood there, speaking with confidence, trying to dominate the session, and laughing. It was as if he were in a theatrical performance, not a murder trial. The press was captivated by his personality. And that was what sparked controversy. How could someone with such charisma commit all these crimes? In the end, the charges were proven against him. He confessed to killing more than 30 girls. But the truth? The number could have been much higher. On January 24, 1989, he was executed by electrocution.
Step out, Mr. Bundy. With the intent to commit the offense of battery therein in the course of committing such burglary, said Theodore Robert Bundy did make an assault upon Karen Chandler and/or Kathy Kleiner, contrary to Section 81002 Florida statutes. And your grand jurors being present in said court further gives the court to be informed and understand that Theodore Robert Bundy on the 15th day of January, 1978 in Leon County, Florida, did then and there unlawfully kill a human being, to wit, Margaret Bowman, by strangling and or beating her, and said killing was perpetrated by said Theodore Robert Bundy from or with a premeditated design or intent to effect the death of said Margaret Bowman, contrary to Section 78204 Florida statutes. And your grand jurors being present in said court further gives the court to be informed and understand that Theodore Robert Bundy on the 15th day of January, 1978 in Leon County, Florida, did then and there unlawfully kill a human being, to wit, Lisa Levy, by strangling and or beating.
Despite the end, his name is still frightening and is frequently repeated in films and books to this day. Ted Bundy taught us a terrifying lesson. Not everyone who looks innocent has an innocent heart. And not every smile means safety. Bundy wasn't just a killer. Bundy was a walking, laughing, and hunting mask. He was one of the most dangerous and notorious serial killers in history. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for the next episode of The Mysterious Reality, because we have many more stories to tell, even more scary and mysterious.